Yesterday, the Commissioner General of Examinations officially announced the solution they had arrived at to resolve the crisis surrounding the first part of the GCE Ordinary Level Science paper in a manner which would not put undue stress upon the students. It would be unjust to consider that this solution was arrived at in order for the Commissioner General, who was appointed a year ago, to save face. This is because the views expressed at yesterday's media briefing lead us to believe that this decision was not arrived at by the Commissioner General or any other individual alone.
විද්වත් කමිටුව රැස් වෙලා දීර්ඝ ලෙස මේ පිළිබඳ සාකච්ඡා කරලා තිබෙනවා.
The expert committee on this issue convened and held discussions. Accordingly, the Commissioner General's expert committee decided to give marks to all students for the 19 questions in the MCQ section of the paper, whether the students applied the correct answer or not.
ලකුණු 19 සෑම කෙනෙක් දරුවෙකුටම ලබා දෙයි. ඒ ප්‍රශ්න හරියට ලියවත් වැරදියට ලියුවත්
If, as the Minister states, the Commissioner General of Examinations has such an expert committee, then that committee must indeed be made up of persons outside the department. Since revealing the names of these members is not equivalent to leaking an examination paper, if at least one of these members had been present at this media briefing, then that member could have been questioned and it could have been established that the proposed solution is the most appropriate and fair. Through the proposed marking system, it could be surmised that the Department of Examinations is still standing by the 19 questions that were leaked. If the Commissioner General's expert committee were able to certify that talented students would in no way be harmed by their decision to award all students marks for these questions in spite of their answers, then it would increase the trust placed in the department rather than damage it. Also, a question arises as to whether the knowledge on science among children in this country can be correctly determined when the solution to this problem is to gift all students 19 marks, or roughly 1/5 of the total possible marks that they could have achieved. The final rites were performed today for 5 of the victims who drowned when their boat capsized on the Tissawava on Saturday. The funerals were held at the St. Peter's Cemetery in Ingiriya and in Godakawela.
The remains of Muthukumara Sridharan, Rasika Chandralal, Shriyant Pires and Aselani Roshan, all residents of Ingiriya, were placed at the Rural Development Committee Hall at the St. Peter's settlement in Ingiriya. A large crowd, including the families of the deceased, gathered at the community hall to pay their final respects. Following religious observances held later in the day, the 4 men were laid to rest. Meanwhile, the final rites of Duminda Roshan Gunatilaka, resident of Godakawela, were performed at the Galahitiava Cemetery in Godakawela. 7 people, including the 5 who were laid to rest today, drowned on Saturday while on a boat safari of the Tissawava in Tissamaharam following an excursion to Khattaragama. A journalist from the Ceylon Today newspaper, or the Ceylon newspaper company, died this morning in an accident. The victim was 21-year-old Amila Mendes Jayasinghe. Amila was on her way to work this morning when she met with the accident at the junction connecting Rosmin Place and Vijayarama Mawatha. Amila, who was walking on the pavement, was run over by a speeding truck. The truck came to a halt when it crashed onto a wall of a nearby house. The police had already arrived at the scene of the accident when the News First team got there and investigations had commenced. Amila, who sustained serious injuries, died upon admission to the Colombo National Hospital. The driver of the truck was taken into custody and the police said that the accident occurred because the driver was unable to control the truck. This is an eyewitness account. I heard a sound and I rushed to the location. She looked like a child. I couldn't see her face. I only saw her head.
The driver got off the truck. He looked at her. She was breathing. Then a blue-colored three-wheeler arrived and she was taken to the hospital in the three-wheeler.
Amila, who studied at Colombo International School, was in her final year at the Open University in Colombo. Amila, who resided down Taxila Place in Kirlapina, joined the Ceylon Today newspaper in June. Relatives said that the final rites of Amila will take place on Thursday.
Speaking at an event in Beruwala this morning, Parliamentarian Arjuna Ranatunga reiterated that attention should be focused on human development before developing the country.
The annual prize giving of an international school in Beruwala was held under the auspices of MP Arjuna Ranatunga.
රත්නසිරි වික්‍රමනායක අපේ හිටපු අගමැතිතුමා කියලා තිබ්බා.
Former Prime Minister Ratnasiri Wickramanayake once said that development does not mean making roads. Human development is important. If we don't direct our children onto the correct path, if we don't give them a proper education, we will have to gaze at these buildings and roads. Today you can see the problems cropping up in the country. There are problems in the judiciary, the executive and the legislature. We need to be thoughtful when working for the future of this country.
මේ රටේ අනාගතය වෙනුවෙන් කටයුතු කරනකොට හුඟා දුරට මේව ගැන හිතලා බලලා ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්න ඕනේ.
Let's now take a look at Crime Watch. An individual was assaulted by a group in Nagoda, Nitambua. The group had also set fire to the victim's three-wheeler. The police said that the assault took place at around 9 last night. The victim, who sustained injuries after being attacked with a sharp weapon, was admitted to the Watupitiwala hospital. The police said that the victim, who was identified as Janaka Udit Kumara, a resident of Nitambua, was later transferred to the National Hospital.
An individual of about 18 to 20 years of age arrived for medication and left. He travelled 100 metres along the Nagoda road when two motorbikes arrived. Those who were on the two motorbikes were wearing full-faced helmets. Before the three-wheeler could stop, they smashed the windscreen. He had then jumped out of the moving three-wheeler. One person had stabbed him in the chest. Then another person stabbed him. He managed to run away. He said he saw them set fire to the three-wheeler.
Meanwhile, a nude corpse was discovered in the Godagam area along the Colombo Gaul main road. Our correspondent said that the victim is believed to be 60 years of age.
The best cut. Make your choice now.
අද ලොකු වෙලා වැරදි කරන අය ඉන්නවා සල්ලාලකම් කරන අය ඉන්නවා බේබද්දෝ ඉන්නවා අම්මා නංගි අඳුරන්නේ නැතිව දූෂණ ගැටලු වලට පත් වෙච්ච අය ඉන්නවා මේ තැනට මේ පුරවැසියා ඇයි ගොනු වෙලා තියන්නේ හැඩ ගැහිලා තියන්නේ දෙමව්පියෝ පුංචි කාලේ දරුවව හරි මාර්ගය යවු නැති හින්දා මම ඉතාමත්ම සතුටු වෙනවා මගෙන් පසුව පොළොන්නරුවේ අනාගතය ගොඩනගන්නට මගේ දේශපාලන විශ්‍රාම කාලය ළඟ ළඟම එන නිසා ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම ඉදිරි අනාගතය සඳහා අද අරුණ පරපුරක් දේශපාලනයේ දෙවෙනි සහ තුන්වෙනි කණ්ඩායම් වශයෙන් සිටිනවා.
කෞතුකාගාරයේ හොරකම ඇතුළු කොට ඒ භයානක ජාතික විපත්වල මාධ්‍ය නොහිටින්න මේවා ඔක්කොම වැළලුවා.
Vote now for your favorite cut of the day. Log on to www.newsfirst.lk or SMS to BEST space your choice and send it to 7788. For the best cut of the day, watch News First on Sirasa TV at 10 tonight. The best cut. Make your choice now.
On to business news tonight. The per capita debt burden in the country has increased by 25% as at the end of August. According to the latest statistics released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, per capita debt was 245,980 rupees at the beginning of the year. However, by the end of August, this figure increased to 308,071 rupees.
The latest statistics released by the CBSL indicates that the sum of government debt at the beginning of 2012 was 5,133 billion rupees. By the end of August, the total debt burden had increased to 6,248 billion rupees. According to the central bank, the debt burden increased by 21.7% from January to August. When this sum is divided among the total mid-year population, per capita debt is 308,071 rupees. Of the total debt burden, 3,253 billion rupees account for local loans, while 2,995 billion rupees accounts for foreign loans.
Today is the birthday of Pasanda Yapa Abhivardhana, who is the Vice President of the Lakshman Yapa Abhivardhana Foundation. A special religious event was held at the Nainbala Middelvala Vihara in Tihagura to mark the 23rd birthday of Pasanda Yapa Abhivardhana. Buddhist monks attended the religious event that was held under the auspices of the chief incumbent of the Vihara. Well, on to sports news now. Manager of the Sri Lanka cricket team, Charit Senanayake, says that the team is prepared to face tomorrow's Boxing Day test against Australia, disregarding the allegations that have been levelled by Sri Lanka cricket at himself and captain Mahela Jayawardene. The second test between Sri Lanka and Australia will commence at the MCG in Melbourne tomorrow. When Sports first made inquiries, the team manager said that the captain would make clarifications regarding these allegations upon the conclusion of the match.
The manager of the Sri Lanka cricket team, Charit Senanayake, says that it is doubtful whether pacer Nuwan Kulasekara will play in tomorrow's game.
We are still unsure as to whether Nuwan Kulasekara will play. Sometimes Dhammika Prasad may play. Nuwan Kulasekara is still recovering from the blow to the chest he suffered when he was hit by the ball at the previous match. There will be no change to the batting lineup. Sometimes there may be a change in the fast bowling lineup. It should be a good day tomorrow in terms of weather, with a forecasted temperature of 26 degrees. We have seen the pitch as well, and it is a good pitch.
The team manager said that the team hopes to secure a historic first test victory in Australia. Sports First also made inquiries from Senanayake regarding allegations levelled at himself and captain Mahela Jayawardene.
There is no issue, and we will not make it an issue. The Boxing Day match, which commences tomorrow, is a bigger issue. Once the match is over, Mahela will make a statement to the media and clarify what actually happened. The main thing is tomorrow's test, therefore we will not burden ourselves with unnecessary things.
Well, that's all we have from our Christmas Day edition of Primetime News.
But before wrapping up tonight's news, we would just like to remind our viewers that while we have the opportunity of celebrating Christmas surrounded by our loved ones and families, there are those of us who are a lot less fortunate, and we hope that our viewers will spare a thought for the less fortunate.
I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Good night
and God bless.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.